Judy Gonzalez.
Hello, my name is Juan Carlos Blandon.
And we both serve for the NRN sponsorship program here in Nicaragua.
It is a wonderful opportunity for us to share with you about what's going on here in Nicaragua as far as the sponsorship program.
Thanks God, we have the great blessing to be a sponsored student a few years ago. I personally got a wonderful family who support me and who love me throughout all of these years.
I come from the north part of Nicaragua, and I had the opportunity to come here to Managua to study, and I was able to be a sponsor. And I was a sponsor through NRN, and I was able to finish high school, and I was able to go to university. Thanks God, I was able to finish my economics degree, and I also got an MBA. I truly want the same for those students that go to the NRN schools. And as you might know, Nicaragua is the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, second to Haiti. And in Nicaragua, I would say that max 4 students out of 10 are able to finish high school. And that's because when they reach a certain age, they have to decide whether they will continue with their study or if they will have to work in order to provide for their families. So now here in Nicaragua, we have big families. So typically a family is comprised of 4 kids and 2 parents and mom and dad, right? So, and sometimes we can see that only that is working, and that is only making about $120 to $150, which is the minimum wage here in Nicaragua. And that's very hard to live on that monthly wage. And that's the reason why the kids, they have to decide when they are 17, do they continue with the school or do they have to help their families? So that's the reason why NRN comes alongside those families and help those students to be able to accomplish their dream and to develop their God-given potential.
And thanks to your support, all of these students can have a qualified education. Thanks God, NRN has 4 schools at this moment, and each one of them has provided this important tool for their lives, which is a good education. Also, thanks to your support, you are providing psychological and medical attention. Thanks God, we have a medical team and a wonderful doctor, Dr. Carla, which is hand by hand working with all of these students and including the whole staff. One thing that also you're providing to your support is having all of these students, the blessing to have supplies throughout the years. Thanks God, they can have uniforms, they can have shoes, they can have books, notebooks, all of these things that they're gonna use through the years. One more thing also that is also included in this package is that you will provide a meal for these students. Thanks God, they can have not only their brain full of knowledge, but also their belly full of food. And something important that I have admired also about their program is the way that God is working through our lives. Thanks God, we have Christian education at this school, and we have witnessed how God has changed many lives throughout this education, and how people have, gave their lives to Jesus and saying, guys, we are here, God, to give you our lives and our souls. So thanks God for that amazing blessing that our students, that NRN students can have, which is the Christian part.
So one of the things that you provide through a scholarship is hope. So there are many students that come from very poor families, and they feel like they don't have a future because they see around them and their possibilities or opportunities are very limited. And here is where the sponsor comes in and say, I'm here to walk alongside you to develop your God-given potential. So one example of that is I met a little girl who was in 3rd grade at that time, and the sponsor was meeting her for the first time. So one of the common questions that the sponsor asks a student is, what do you want to be when you grow up? So and the sponsor asked this little girl that question, and the little girl said, I want to be a janitor, just like my mom. And then that was fine, right? That's a fine job. But years later, the sponsor came back to Nicaragua and asked the exact same question. What do you want to be when you grow up? And she said, I want to be a doctor. I just gave you one example of a lot of miracles that happen through the sponsorship program. Our job allows us to be witness of what God is doing here in Nicaragua through your support and through the support of all those people that work alongside the ministry.
One of the things that is incredible to see is how dreams come true. So I personally, when I was a child, I always was asking, my family, I want to be this, or I want to become this. And at the end, I was able to become a professional now because thanks, to that support that my sponsor provided me at that moment. So that is happening with our child. Every single time that you ask your sponsors to do, what do you want to be when you grow up, or what do you want to have for your future? So most of them, they will tell you, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a president. And thanks to your support, thanks to that seed that you're planted here in Nicaragua, all of these students are able to get where they dream at the moment.
Now, you might be wondering, how can you be a part of this wonderful ministry, and how can you be a part of the great things that God is doing in Nicaragua? And so number one is, you can absolutely sponsor a student in Nicaragua.
And one thing is pray. Pray God a lot. We need your prayers. So ask for those sponsors who are still thinking about how to sponsor a child here in Nicaragua, that they can be clear about the step to follow so they can find the right boy or girl here in Nicaragua.
If you already sponsor, we give you many thanks on behalf of the students here in Nicaragua, but also we would like to encourage you to share your testimony with other people that would like to be a part of this family. Something really wonderful about sponsoring a student here in Nicaragua is that you have the great opportunity to get to meet that student if you decide to come to Nicaragua. And let me tell you that that's something that the students here in Nicaragua love a lot, and they will much appreciate it if you come here to visit them. Has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's grace. So in this case, God gives us different resources, and God gives us a lot of opportunities to serve others. So it depends on how each one of us we use those gifts and those talents and those resources to be a blessing to the life of many other people in this world.
Nicaragua. From La Quinta Primavera,
we say
gracias.